Welcome back to another episode of the Infinite Jurisdiction podcast. It's your host with a clean shaven head, Gonzalo Gonzalez, and we're here for another weekly catch up of my experience through law school. Another week down, another week to talk about. We begin first, of course, with the weekly catch up. That's more localized. So, what am I doing personally, and what law school stuff am I working on? Personally, school is about to start, so I'm gearing up for that, making all the necessary preparations. Most of that's like emotional, psychological preparation. I've had a lot of time off, so it's gonna be quite a change in gears for me. Besides the preparation, I have been doing a lot of reading, a lot of recreational reading, mostly nonfiction. So I'm enjoying that because I really do enjoy reading, and it doesn't seem like there's going to be a lot of time for that as school starts. I'm going to try to read every day during school for at least half an hour, and sorry about that. My cat is messing under the table. So yeah, I'm gonna try to keep reading, but not to the extent that I'm currently reading, which is a necessary compromise. In terms of law school stuff, like I said, school's starting, so I'm getting ready for that. So nothing really dense in that area. Moving next to current perspectives, advice that I would give to incoming law students. What kind of advice am I thinking about this week? I've been on campus as of late, and I've been seeing a lot of the new students, the 1Ls coming in, and it's nice to reflect on just what I was thinking about and what my beliefs or misconceptions I had at that point, and what I wish I knew back then, and what I would tell the 1Ls. There's a lot, just, I guess, technical advice, schooling advice, I guess you would say, life management advice to make sure you're eating well, make sure you're exercising, make sure you're sleeping. But aside from that, I guess the more the more content based advice I would give is really focus on doing well in your doctrinals. And I don't mean doing well in the sense that you get good grades. Even good grades sometimes don't accurately reflect one's competence in an area of law. A lot of the times, even in law school, I found that you could do pretty well just by knowing how to take exams and knowing what will be on the exams, knowing what the teacher prefers and what they're going to look for, without being super knowledgeable in torts or property or crim law, whatever it is. So aside from the grades, just really try to absorb the doctrinal information. Torts, contracts, civil pro. Civil pro is not going to make much sense until it becomes like you understand it, how it works in the practical world. But really try to understand civ pro, crim law, property, con law, because learning those subjects well, and not just to pass an exam, but really understanding the doctrine and the rules and the public policy behind the rules or whatever it is that's being talked about, that sets a incredibly important foundation for the future of your law school career. You would want to know about these things simply because you're going to have to relearn them or refresh yourself uh, with them for your bar exam, but just understanding them and at a very sophisticated level, not super sophisticated, but knowing them well will help you in a lot of areas of life, because there's a lot of times where there's analogous legal concepts. If you understand how this works in that area of law, you'll understand how this works in that area of law, and there's a lot of cross-pollination of terms. There's also just this is a more difficult project that isn't emphasized too much, I think, at least not in my school, but understanding how the law works together. I mean, you learn these separate areas of law, and you're not sure how they really interact, but once you really get a feel for the content and you start building a knowledge base, you're going to be like, you will be able to better understand how, if this type of event occurs, what are the causes of actions? Is it a tort? Is it a contract? What are damages, remedies? What other legal solutions exist? That just makes everything that you're learning more coherent, because it fits better into like a system of understanding rather than like miscellaneous legal principles that you're learning. So long-winded, but really, if you're an incoming 2L, aside from all the other good stuff that you should be doing, you should really try to get a strong foundation in your doctrinals. Okay, that's the local kind of practical advice I would give. Philosophy time. What have I been thinking that's a little more philosophical in nature, and that's a lot more open to opinion, and I might have addressed this in an earlier podcast at some level, but I'm reflecting on just the kind of lawyer that I want to become, because obviously you don't just overnight become something. You build habits, and that turns into character, and the character becomes who you are. So those habits are being formed now, and I'm not talking about technical aspects of being a lawyer, knowing the substance of the law. I'm not talking about writing. I'm not talking about oral facilities. I'm not talking about professionalism or ethics. I'm thinking about what the sine qua non of my lawyer identity will be. What is the essential thing that I'm trying to do via this occupation? Am I dedicating myself to some abstract and grand, ambiguous principle called justice? It certainly seems nice. I like justice, I think, however defined. Am I committed to some more limited but specific and more practical cause, like the abolition of the death penalty, or tort reform, or making the necessary legislative changes to enact better rules surrounding whatever area of law that you're concerned with? What is that thing that helps you wake up in the morning and do the thing that you're doing? Is it money? These are all things I think about. There obviously isn't any straightforward answer to this, but I think it's a question that's valuable only insofar as it's an interesting exercise in knowing not what you want to be, because I guess that's more slavery, but knowing what you don't want to be, which is a weird, almost quasi-scientific approach, which is ask yourself, what kind of lawyer do you want to be? And I think intuitively you'll begin pointing out examples of the kind of lawyer you don't want to be and the kind of things that you don't want to pursue as a lawyer. And so in that process of pruning, you narrow what it is that you want to be. You'll probably never get to this aha moment where you're like, oh, that's what I want to be. That's it. Because life is hard and complex, and you're constrained by contingencies and the time that you live in and all that stuff. But just that pruning process of getting away from what you definitely know and that you'll grow to know that you definitely don't want to be, I think that's the value in that exercise. I'll continue to be doing that, and I think the pruning process is definitely helpful. I've already been able to just really narrow down. I know in previous podcasts I've mentioned that I wasn't too sure about what area of law I want to pursue, and it's better if you're an incoming student and know what it is you want to do. But if you're not at that point, it's time to begin that kind of pruning process of discovering what it is you want to pursue for what will be your life's occupation. But that's what I've been thinking. That's what I've had in mind. And that's this week's weekly update of my law school journey. Guys, I'm a 2L, second year law school, 4 semesters left. It's going by quick. Time flies when you're having fun and when you're busy. So I mentioned it elsewhere, but I'll just echo it in this outro. Just really enjoy it, even if it sucks at some points. Enjoy it. But that's all I have for this week. I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.